Welcome guys, today I'm going to be unboxing Steamforged Games Godtear. It's where you collect a band of champions and their followers together and you go searching for the energy of the fallen gods in hopes that your warband will be able to replace them. It's currently on Kickstarter. It's about a week left from the time that this video was posted, approximately. I think right now on the day of filming there's 9 days left, and it's doing fairly well. It's picking up some speed, or has picked up a bunch of speed I should say, and has a whole bunch of backers and some great content that's being released through the Kickstarter process. So I currently do have a early access kit of Godtear. I saw it when I went to Adepticon. I saw the miniatures. I saw the board that they had out there, and I was talking with the people that were running the booth. And so I came home from Adepticon and I ended up ordering Godtear's early access kit. So I thought today we're going to sit down, do an unboxing of that kit itself. It comes with 4 models, a mat, tokens, objective markers, stuff like that. So brief. And I do say brief because I don't know much about the game. I'm still reading the rules. It is currently in an open beta. I think it's version 0.8 at this time of filming, which could change by the time I get this released. We'll find out. And so what it is it's instead of a open style board or mat that I'm usually used to with my miniature games, it's done with hexes, and your models move certain number of squares, then can do certain actions just like any other miniature game, except it eliminates via the hexes the need or necessity of a tape measure or some sort of measuring device, because you just count out the hexes where these guys are moving. So got the models primarily because I thought they looked beautiful. The sculpts that I saw at Adepticon just blew my mind. So Blackjaw was one that really stood out to me, and as well as Shaylin as Gollum, as well as Laura Lane. I believe it's Laura Lane, the Elven lady, and her warband. They just looked fantastic. And then seeing some of the future sculpts that are on the Kickstarter as well, I'm definitely impressed by Steamforged Games and their ability to produce these models. They look fantastic. So I did jump on for the Kickstarter as well, and then I added on extra money for the neoprene mat because I was looking at the mat that came in the early access kit or box, and it will get the job done, but I do like my neoprene mats. There's no sort of shine to them, which you'll see when I do the unboxing. There is a shine in the gloss due to the way that the plastic is made and the mat is made itself. So a bit about the game from my understanding. You basically are going around. On the mat there's something called the battle tracker, and it tracks the ebb and flow of the battle, so what side's winning which turn. And you're trying to gain 5 victory points to become the winner by the end of the game. Each round is worth a certain number of victory points, and you earn those victory points by doing more things in game, such as calling your enemies, planting a banner in an objective marker, knocking out your opponent's champions, things along those lines. Calling the enemy is basically taking out the followers of the champions. And then on top of that, you can do actions. Like I said, you can plant banners on objectives. You have your different attack actions, and they have like, I think they are called ultimates, which is sort of like a special one-off ability that you can use from each of your champions there. So that's just a brief, quick, like I said, I haven't read all the rules yet. I haven't even played a game yet, but I just thought I'd jump on and do a unboxing of the early access kit, because it came with a bunch of stuff and is definitely worth the money. So with that said, let's jump right into the unboxing. So here we are with the box that everything came in. It is quite sizable, as you can see. You got the big logo for Godtear across the front of it. I have already opened it up and started going through it. So let's just peel the box open first off and take a look at what we got. So over here, first thing on top that I have on top is the hex map. You can see that it is a plastic mat. There is a bit of a shine or a gloss to it. With the lights that I have in here, it just reflects a lot of that. So that's why I decided to go with the neoprene mat. This bottom line here that you can see is called the battle tracker, I believe is what they called it. And what happens is you have a token that basically sits or moves along this line, and then what happens is at the end of the round, that token, if it's on your side of the battle tracker, which you got 2 colors here, you earn that number of victory points that's on the bottom side of that token, and then if it's on your opponent's, the opponent does that. So I'm gonna unfold this so you can sort of see what it looks like. So, and I'll put everything else just right on top of it and such. So there we go. So that's sort of what the mat looks like. You can see all the hexes and stuff like that. So it's just a grassland mat. The one that I think I bought, the neoprene one, is sort of like similar to the mat that I saw at Adepticon, which is like the reddish sort of wasteland mat. So I'll probably end up doing or painting my miniatures bases in that color to match that mat, because that's what I picked up with the Kickstarter. I added in the extra money and stuff like that. So it's really cool, really good, really, really good. So that mat there, it's pretty durable, pretty solid plastic, but I think if you play the game enough, you're eventually gonna run through that if you keep it folded. It's folded up right now because I'm gonna put it back in the box. So next up, I got, pulling out here, you'll see you got like stickers and stuff like that. So this is a whole bunch of just clear paper, but you got stickers here to put on the battle tracker tokens, as well as things for your banners, the pictures there, and then over here you got everything that you need for the dice, both the dice that you roll and like the boon and bane dice, I think is what they're called, which is like stuff that you can get through at the game. So that's pretty good as well. So we're gonna move right along into the next portion, and that is nice little box represented here. Tokens, says it right there on the side there. These are wound trackers, these tokens here. They basically, as you gain wounds, stuff like that, you just put those on your stat cards for your models and your champions. So that works there. You have, coming in here, you got some objective markers. So these are like the objectives. So basically these would sit on the hex grid on the mat, and that is what you're trying to take over. This would be where the Godtears land. Godtears are basically, again, the essences of the fallen or the old gods. And so I think, as far as I understand, and again, I have limited access to the game because I haven't actually played it yet and I'm still reading the rules, they will expand or change via the different scenarios that you play. So yeah, so those are that. And then these are for your banners. So as you go around, you'd have the sticker on there to represent your banner, and you just put that on there to represent that you control that portion of the god tier, as far as I know. Up next, after the tokens, you have the dice. So you already saw that there are stickers for the dice. You have different color-coded dice here, but I think that the color-coded doesn't really matter anymore, except for the black and white. I think those are the boon and bane dice, but the rest of them, I don't think the color matters anymore. Again, I'm not sure. I've watched a couple of battle reports. I think Ash has done a couple of them from the different versions, and I think you can choose to roll any color of them. Could be wrong, so please don't take me for what I'm saying. Look it up for yourself on the beta rules there. So that is that. Up next, we got the models. Okay, so up next we have the models here. I'm just moving this around here so we got it. So the models, again, this is what won me over when I was at Adepticon. I saw the sculpts for Blackjaw, Shale and his Golem, and Laura Lane, I believe is her name, and I've fallen in love. So this would be they come all with their bases and pre-packaged and everything like that. So this would be Wraith Merid. He almost reminds me of, if you've ever played Dungeons and Dragons, Draconian, or the Dragonborn as they're now called. So it's a Draconian style monster or creature, and they are pewter models, which I think when you get the actual game from the Kickstarter, it's going to turn into plastic instead of pewter. So I'm going to have to play with this a little bit, but you can see all the details on there. Like, you got all the details from, let's see, from the shoulder pad, all the scales and everything else. So, and there's really not a lot of flashing or anything like that on these models, so it's quite good. So let's see, I got his head here as well, solid. So there's his head. You can see, like I said, he's like a draconian style model. So, and he comes with 2 swords as well, so they're pretty thick and awesome. After him, we got again, this is Blackjaw. Blackjaw is one of my favorites. I plan on painting him up first, and I just say favorites because of the sculpt. Big flaming axe, and then just the orc style body and everything else. So like that's him. That's you can see all the leather wrappings and everything else. Little fabric hanging off the back. So yeah, I think these are supposed to be tribal markings, I think, coming across the shoulders. I'm not sure. Anyhow, that's Blackjaw, and he comes with a bunch of followers. So each of these models, I guess, there's different types. There's 4 different types of champions. What are they again? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. There is a Guardian. There's a Slayer. There is, I want to say, like I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, like a controller, like a manipulator style model as well. Can't remember what else though, but there's 4 different types, and each one allows you to do things. So that's Blackjaw. I'm not going to show you all the other guys, but they are pretty good as well. They all come pre-packaged and everything else like that. Lastly, but definitely not least, is Rodri and Lorsane. So Lorsane is a big, giant female elf with bows. So they're slayers, I believe, is what these guys are. Where Rodri is like a guardian. So like, she's pretty cool. I like her. Nice tall. So you'll see that the champions tend to be bigger than your regular models, because that's them going into like godhood and such. So you can see all the armor from the scale mail, everything like that, all the details and the fabrics and that. It's quite great. And I'll grab Rodri quickly, and I'll show you him as well. So I think I paid like $200 Canadian, and I would definitely say it's well worth it. So I'll pull him out of his box as well, and we'll go from there. My table is filling up with metal models and boxes, so it's quite good. I like it. It's sort of like Christmas Day when you get to open these up and actually get to play with them and everything. So there's Rodri, just a burly dwarf. I almost called him an elf. Oh my goodness. So just a burly dwarf. You got his shield and everything else there, and all this thick armor. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah, so about 200 bucks got me all this stuff. I'm quite excited. And when I say 200 bucks, I think it was 200 Canadian after shipping and everything else, which is good. And when I say shipping, I mean the taxes that us Canadians are paying to get things in through customs and stuff like that. So that is that. We'll come back next and with a little recap. So that's that, guys. That is the contents of the early access kit. Over the next little while, I'm going to be building them and putting them together, painting them up, and then hopefully I can get some of my friends from around my area to jump in on some games with me. We'll just do obviously 2 versus 2 at the moment, because I only got the 4 models. Unless maybe I can connect with somebody else that has the early access kit as well. Then I'll see if I can get some 3 versus 3 games or whatever we can. So you can go online, find all the rules for Godtear from Steamforged Games. They have the open beta. You can download the rules. It gives you all the changes that they've made from the versions, as well as your character cards, stuff along those lines. You'll find the links in the description of the video down below, so go check that out. As well, check out the Kickstarter. Again, in the links in the video down below. You definitely won't be disappointed with this. It looks like it's going to be a fun, simple game to get into, and I just like the setting, becoming a god. You know, that is something that what got me into gaming in the fantasy setting originally. One of the D&D campaigns I played in was all about becoming a god in a ancient time, compared to like Forgotten Realms and stuff like that. So it was like set like 2,000 years before that, and so your guys were that much more stronger and better than your current everyday characters. And so this game sort of, you know, sits and hits that sort of connection with me, because like I used to play that quite a bit, and so this sort of hits that connection, like I said, and has me interested in this game. And again, the models look great. So thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, ignite your hobby.